Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the massive window of the Galactic Council's space station, watching the strange alien ships drift past like colorful fish in a cosmic sea. Even after 5 years of humanity being part of the galactic community, the sights still amaze her. But today, she wasn't here to admire the view. "Admiral, they're ready for us," her assistant, Lieutenant James Park, said quietly. Chen nodded, straightening her dark blue uniform. This meeting had been months in the making. Earth's first invitation to participate in what the aliens called a territorial dispute resolution, their fancy term for war. She had studied the basic briefing materials, but the Council had been strangely reluctant to share detailed information about their combat protocols. The Council chamber was a huge circular room with rising tiers of seats, filled with representatives from over 50 alien species. Some looked almost human. Others were so strange Chen could barely tell which end was their face. The air smelled like a mixture of flowers and ozone. "Welcome, Admiral Chen," the council speaker, a tall being with silvery skin and 4 arms, said. "We understand you're here to receive the warfare protocols for humanity's first participation in a dispute resolution." "That's correct, Speaker." Chen stood confidently at the center of the chamber. "Earth is ready to do its part as a member of the galactic community." A strange silence fell over the chamber. The aliens looked at each other uncomfortably. Some made clicking sounds that Chen's translator didn't even try to interpret. "There seems to be a misunderstanding," the speaker said slowly. "We didn't invite humanity to participate. We called you here to formally inform you that humans are banned from all forms of galactic warfare." Chen blinked. "Banned? But we just received the invitation." "That was an automated system error," another council member, a being that looked like a giant purple octopus, interrupted. "It should never have been sent." "I don't understand," Chen said, feeling her face grow hot. "We haven't even participated in any galactic conflicts yet. How can we be banned?" "The ban was put in place long before humanity joined the galactic community," the speaker explained. "It is, in fact, the only preemptive ban in our history." The chamber erupted in nervous whispers. Chen noticed several species moving their seats back, as if trying to distance themselves from her. "On what grounds?" she demanded. "We have a right to know." The speaker's silver skin rippled, a sign of discomfort. "That information is classified under Protocol 0. Even most council members don't have access to the full details." "Protocol 0. Lieutenant Park whispered. "I've never heard of that." "Neither have I," Chen muttered back. She raised her voice. "Speaker, humanity is now a part of this community. We deserve to know why we're being treated this way." "The decision is final, Admiral," the speaker said firmly. "This meeting is adjourned." As Chen and Park walked back to their ship, their footsteps echoing in the empty corridor, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was very wrong. The aliens hadn't looked at them with disgust or hatred. They had looked scared. "What do we do now?" Park asked. Chen stopped walking, her jaw set with determination. Now we find out what they're hiding. Because whatever made them ban us before they even met us, that's something we need to know." She looked out another window at the vast expanse of space, where alien ships continued their eternal dance. "And I have a feeling we're not going to like the answer." 3 weeks after the council meeting, Admiral Chen sat in her dimly lit office on Earth's orbital command station, surrounded by holographic displays showing historical data. Her eyes were tired from reading, and empty coffee cups littered her desk. "Admiral, you need to see this." Lieutenant Park burst into her office, holding a datapad. His usually neat uniform was wrinkled, suggesting he'd been up all night too. "What did you find?" Chen straightened in her chair, suddenly alert. "Remember how you asked me to check if any alien ships were spotted near Earth during our major conflicts?" Park's hands were shaking with excitement. "Look at these atmospheric disturbance patterns from 1939 to 1945. Chen studied the data. During World War II, there had been hundreds of unexplained atmospheric anomalies. the kind now known to be caused by alien cloaking technology. The Council had been watching them. But why that war specifically? She wondered aloud. Earth has had many wars. That's not all, Park continued. I managed to make contact with an alien archivist, an Arctian named Zelks. They're willing to meet with us secretly. Chen raised an eyebrow. How much did this information cost us? That's the strange part, Park said. They don't want money. They said we deserve to know the truth. 2 days later, Chen and Park found themselves in a quiet corner of Europa Station's marketplace. The place was designed to look like an old Earth bazaar, but the floating lights and alien customers ruined the illusion. Zelks turned out to be a tall, thin creature with pale blue skin and large dark eyes. They sat hunched over a table, their long fingers wrapped around a cup of something that smelled like mint. What you're investigating? Zelks spoke softly. It's not about the atomic bombs. Many species developed similar weapons. Then what scared the Council so much? Chen leaned forward. It was the speed. Zelks's eyes darted around nervously. Do you know how long it typically takes a species to develop new military technology and tactics? Chen shook her head. Centuries. Most species perfect one way of fighting and stick to it. But humans, Zelks shuddered. In just 6 years, you went from basic propeller aircraft to jet engines. From simple code breaking to complex computers. From traditional tactics to entirely new forms of warfare. That's just innovation, Park argued. Isn't that normal during war? No, Zelks said firmly. It's not. And it wasn't just your technology. You changed your entire society for the war effort. Factories stopped making civilian goods to produce weapons. Entertainment became focused on supporting the war. Every aspect of human life was directed toward the conflict. No other species has ever done that. Chen felt a chill run down her spine. Total war, she whispered. Yes, Zelks nodded. The Council has a term for species that can adapt that quickly, that completely. World shapers. They're considered extremely dangerous. Suddenly, alarms began blaring throughout the station. Chen's communicator buzzed with an emergency signal. What's happening? She asked, standing up. Park checked his device, his face going pale. Admiral, it's the Cricks. They've attacked 3 of our outer colonies. Zelks's large eyes widened in fear. Now you'll understand the real reason for the ban. It was never about protecting the galaxy from humans. It was about protecting humans from themselves. The emergency meeting of Earth's Defense Council was chaos. Reports of the Cricks attacks were still coming in, and the casualty numbers kept rising. Admiral Chen stood before the assembled military leaders, her conversation with Zelks still fresh in her mind. The Cricks chose to attack us because they know we're banned from fighting back. General Rodriguez slammed his fist on the table. They think we're easy targets. It's worse than that, Chen said quietly. All eyes turned to her. I discovered why the Council banned us, and it explains why the Cricks are attacking now. She activated the room's holographic display, showing footage from World War II that Zelks had secretly provided. The aliens' hidden cameras had captured everything. Look at these images, she pointed. In 1939, our planes were simple. By 1945, we had jets. Our tanks evolved from basic models to sophisticated weapons. But that's not what scared them. She switched to different footage, of factories being converted, of women joining the workforce, of victory gardens, and propaganda posters. This is what terrified them, she continued. When humans go to war, we don't just send soldiers. We transform our entire civilization. Every factory, every farm, every radio show, everything changes to support the war effort. The Council has a name for species like us. World shapers. The room was silent as the implications sank in. But surely other species do the same thing, Admiral Jones asked. Chen shook her head. No. Zelks showed me records of other species' wars. The Arctians fought the same way for 10,000 years. The Volux haven't changed their battle tactics since they achieved spaceflight. Even the Krix, for all their aggression, used the same strategies they developed centuries ago. And we changed everything in 6 years, Rodriguez whispered. Exactly. Chen brought up more images. The Council was watching us during World War I. They saw how fast we could adapt, how completely we could mobilize our society. It scared them so badly that they classified us as world shapers and banned us before we even reached space. But why ban us from defending ourselves? Jones asked. Surely that puts us in more danger. Chen's expression was grim. Because the ban isn't to protect others from us. It's to protect us from ourselves. The Council believes that if humans ever fully mobilize for an interstellar war, we would evolve our technology and tactics so rapidly that we'd become something different, something beyond their control or understanding. The room erupted in concerned murmurs. Chen waited for them to quiet down before continuing. The Krix think they're clever, attacking us because we're banned from fighting. But they don't understand what the ban really means. They don't know what we're capable of. What are you suggesting? Rodriguez leaned forward. I'm suggesting we show the Council exactly what they're afraid of. Chen's eyes gleamed with determination. Not by fighting, but by showing them how we can use our abilities differently. If we can adapt this quickly for war, we can adapt just as quickly for defense. Jones finished, understanding dawning on his face. Exactly. The Krix want to test us. Fine. Let's show the galaxy what happens when humans really decide to solve a problem. Chen smiled. And this time, we're not going to just reshape our world. We're going to reshape the entire galaxy's understanding of warfare. Rodriguez stood up, excited. When do we start? We already have, Chen said, bringing up a new hologram, her plans for what would soon become the Human Strategic Institute. We're going to teach the galaxy a new way to fight, by learning how not to. 3 days after the emergency meeting, Admiral Chen stood once again before the Galactic Council. This time, the chamber was different. The Krix attacks had frightened many species, and nearly every seat was filled. The air was thick with tension. You claim to have a solution to the Krix attacks. The Council speaker's silver skin rippled with doubt. Without violating the combat ban. I do, Chen said confidently. She gestured to the large holographic display behind her. But first, let me show you something about the Krix. The display showed recordings of recent Krix attacks. Their ships moved in precise, unchanging formations. Notice anything? Chen asked. The Krix have used the same attack patterns for the past 300 years. They've never changed their tactics. Murmurs spread through the chamber. The speaker leaned forward. And this is important because, Chen smiled, while you've been so afraid of humanity's ability to adapt, you've missed its true value. We don't just change our weapons or tactics. We solve problems in ways nobody else thinks of. She pressed a button, and the display changed to show a complex defensive network. This is what we've designed in just 3 days. A new type of planetary shield that adapts to attack patterns. The more the Krix attack, the stronger it becomes. Impossible. A Krix representative growled from the upper seats. No species can develop new technology that quickly. No other species, Chen corrected. But we're world shapers, aren't we? That's why you banned us. Because we can reshape anything, including your understanding of what's possible. The chamber erupted in shocked whispers. Few had known about humanity's classification as world shapers. You dare speak of classified information. The speaker's skin turned a dangerous shade of gray. I dare to offer you a choice. Chen's voice carried across the chamber. You can maintain the ban and watch as the Krix destroy our colonies. Or, she paused, looking at each council member, you can let us show you a different way to use our abilities. What do you mean? Asked a curious Arxian representative. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our capacity for warfare, Chen explained. It's our ability to adapt, to find new solutions. We've turned our entire research division into a defense think tank. In 3 days, we haven't just designed new shields. We've found 14 weaknesses in Crick's strategy that nobody noticed in 3 centuries. The Crick's representative stood up angrily, but Chen continued before they could speak. We don't want to fight. We want to teach. Let us establish a human strategic institute. We'll share our defensive innovations with everyone. We'll help you protect your worlds without firing a shot. And if the Cricks continue their attacks? The speaker asked. Chen's expression hardened. Then they'll learn why smart predators don't attack teaching species. Because we won't just teach defense, we'll teach everyone exactly how to counter every Crick strategy they've used for the past 300 years. The Crick's representative sat down slowly, their aggression replaced by something that looked like fear. You would reshape the entire balance of power in the galaxy, the speaker said quietly. No, Chen corrected. We'll reshape how the galaxy thinks about power itself. The question is, are you brave enough to let us try? The council chamber fell silent as every species considered the choice before them. Maintain their fear of humanity's potential, or embrace it to create something entirely new. 1 year after Admiral Chen's proposal to the council, the Human Strategic Institute stood as the most impressive structure on Europa. Its crystalline towers reflected Jupiter's light, and ships from every species in the galaxy crowded its docking bays. Chen walked through the main hall, watching representatives from different species studying together in the open learning spaces. The sight still amazed her. Former enemies sitting side by side, sharing knowledge rather than weapons fire. Admiral, Lieutenant Park approached with a tablet. The latest reports are in. The Cricks haven't attempted an attack in 3 months. Chen smiled. Hard to attack when your enemy knows all your moves before you make them. They stopped at a large window overlooking one of the training areas. Below, a human instructor was teaching a mixed group of aliens about adaptive defense strategies. On the wall behind them hung the Institute's motto, Reshape Understanding, not Worlds. Did you ever imagine it would work this well? Park asked, watching the scene below. Honestly, no, Chen admitted. I thought the council would take much longer to accept the idea. But I guess fear can work both ways. It can make you run from something, or it can make you want to understand it. Their conversation was interrupted by a soft chime. The council speaker had arrived for their scheduled meeting. The silver-skinned being looked different now, more relaxed, less afraid of being in a room with humans. Admiral Chen, the speaker greeted her warmly. The council has reviewed the Institute's first-year results. They are remarkable. Chen led them to her office, where holographic displays showed the Institute's achievements. 15 different species had already adapted human defensive innovations to protect their worlds. 3 long-running conflicts had been resolved through strategic analysis rather than combat. The Cricks delegation has formally requested to join the Institute's advanced programs, the speaker continued. They say they'd rather learn to innovate than become obsolete. Everyone's welcome here, Chen said. That's the point. We're not teaching anyone how to fight. We're teaching them how to think differently about conflict. You've done more than that. The speaker's skin rippled with what Chen now recognized as admiration. You've proven that being a world shaper doesn't have to be dangerous. It can be magnificent. Chen looked out her window at the busy institute. Students from across the galaxy were learning, adapting, growing, reshaping their understanding of what was possible. The Council has decided to officially modify humanity's classification, the speaker announced. You're still world shapers, but with a new designation, Guardians of Change. And the combat ban? Chen asked, though she already knew the answer. The speaker made a sound that the translator interpreted as laughter. Admiral, you've made it irrelevant. Why would anyone ban a species that's teaching the galaxy how to avoid warfare altogether? As the speaker left, Park turned to Chen with a curious expression. You know what's funny? A year ago, everyone was terrified because humans could reshape ourselves, and our world too quickly. Now they're lining up to learn how to do the same thing. That's because they finally understood the truth, Chen said, watching a group of Crick students excitedly discussing strategy with their human teacher. Being able to reshape yourself isn't dangerous. Refusing to reshape yourself is. She touched the window, looking at the magnificent institute that had grown from the galaxy's greatest fear. We didn't need to fight to prove ourselves. We just needed to show them that the same power that makes us dangerous makes us excellent teachers, Park finished. Exactly, Chen smiled. And now the whole galaxy is learning to reshape itself, one lesson at a time.